October 2024. Space around Mars was quieter than usual. No dust storms. No unusual signals from the atmosphere. Only one thing drew the attention of every orbital station, turning their telescopes toward the same point. A strange object, crossing the void, moving in a way that seemed to obey no law humanity had ever known. Follow this channel so we can continue this journey together beneath the same Milky Way. The first data came from ExoMars, a faint streak of light, moving at a steady speed, releasing more than 150 kilograms of gas per second. At first, scientists thought the measurement system had malfunctioned, because if an object released that much material, it should produce recoil, it should vibrate, drift, feel the reaction of its own expelled gases. But it didn't. It held its course. No trembling, no deviation. As if every law of Newton was nothing more than an old draft, and before them stood an object born from a different physics altogether. For the first few hours, the data was doubted. Control stations recalibrated sensors, tweaked noise-filtering algorithms, cross-checked with independent systems. The result remained the same. No errors, no glitches. Only one thing could not be explained. The object appeared to be operating by a completely different mechanism. Researchers gave it an official name, 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object ever recorded by humankind, after Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. But within just a few days, 3I Atlas would throw the entire scientific community into a crisis of faith unlike anything before. On an anonymous forum, 4chan, someone claiming to be a member of the European Space Agency, ESA, posted a long message. No sensational claims, no conspiracies, just a series of short, dry paragraphs, pure data. The person wrote that, for months, the internal analysis team had tried to simulate, compare, and cross-check every possible physical scenario. But none of them matched the real data. And at the end of that post, there was only one chilling line. The current position is no longer viable. We are living inside a state of cognitive dissonance. That phrase, cognitive dissonance, spread quickly through the scientific world. It wasn't just doubt, it was the quiet shattering of everything we once believed to be true. An astrophysicist in Prague wrote in a confidential memo, if 3I Atlas is truly ejecting material without recoil, then either it's impossibly massive or it's not a natural object. Reports began to pour in. Spectral data revealed something strange within the gases surrounding 3I Atlas, a compound never found in nature, nickel tetracarbonyl. Volatile, toxic, known only from metallurgical engineering, and unmistakably artificial. Labs tried to verify, but every reading from Earth and from orbit pointed to the same conclusion. No measurement errors, no hypothesis that could soothe logic. Behind closed doors, scientists began whispering about the one idea no one wanted to say out loud, that 3I Atlas might not be a comet, but a device, an artificial structure coated in dust and ice, moving through space in a way no human model could describe. But no one dared publish. No institute wanted to be the first to say something that could fracture the foundations of classical physics. The world learned of the leak through a single anonymous post buried in a storm of online noise. A small confession, enough to keep astronomers awake through the night. And in the long silence of the great space agencies, one question echoed through the dark between stars. If 3I Atlas isn't natural, then who sent it here? What do you think? If something out there can move without propulsion, if it's truly artificial, do you believe we are being watched? If you're listening from somewhere far away, tell me, where on this planet are you? Leave a comment below so we can find each other again under the same night sky. After the anonymous post, the global observation network began to stir. No one publicly confirmed anything, but silent radio signals flickered between observatories, short bursts, encrypted, deliberate. Each station was watching the same patch of sky, and all were seeing what no model could explain. In the first week of October, 3I Atlas drifted steadily between Mars and the Sunday. No wobble, no spin, still venting gas at a perfect, mechanical rate, as if following an instruction written long before Earth learned to write. Radar data hinted at something unnatural. The reflections came back too sharp, too uniform, as though the surface wasn't rock or ice, but an engineered alloy, a mirrored skin made for precision, not chaos. When the first processed image from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter arrived, scientists called an emergency meeting. The photo was grainy, a haze of static and light, yet in the noise, geometry emerged, straight lines, right angles, shapes nature seldom dares to make. The room fell silent. A young ESA engineer murmured, "If this is an artifact, then it isn't just passing by, it's watching us." That sentence never made it into the official transcript, but it passed quietly from lab to lab, like a thought no one wanted to believe, yet couldn't erase. On closed scientific forums, arguments ignited. Some said it could be a new kind of physical phenomenon, a transient anti-gravitational jet from material imbalance within its core. Others spoke more plainly, a probe, a robotic emissary from somewhere else. At Harvard, Professor Avi Loeb began drafting his analysis. He'd faced backlash for his Oumuamua hypothesis, but this time the feeling was different. He could sense the same thin border between data and the idea of extraterrestrial intention. In his notes, he wrote, "If 3I Atlas truly emits material without recoil, and if the nickel tetracarbonyl is real, then this is not a passive body, it is regulating itself." Yet what unsettled Loeb most wasn't the chemistry, it was the odds. 3 interstellar objects in less than a decade. By every statistical model, that number was absurd. And the third, 3I Atlas, was the largest, the heaviest, and the least logical of them all. A jet propulsion laboratory analyst summarized the unease perfectly. If 3I Atlas is random, then the universe has a sense of humor. The media began to notice, but the ESA stayed silent. No statements, no confirmations, just the safe bureaucratic refrain. Data analysis ongoing. To they're graded out, they're cutting out. In the control rooms at Darmstadt, green screens glowed across the tense faces of young engineers. They knew that in less than a month, the object would slip behind the sun into the solar blind spot where no telescope could follow. If it changed course there, if it did anything behind the light, the world wouldn't know until year's end. A 26-day gap in observation, long enough for something to happen, long enough to change everything. And within that approaching silence, Hypotheses multiplied. Some clung to the safe ground, a massive ice body, distorted by sunlight and faulty data. Others, quieter but steadier, said, "There's nothing wrong with the data. What's wrong are the laws we're refusing to let go of." In the days that followed, scientists stopped mentioning 3I Atlas in public meetings. Everything turned quiet. Encrypted emails, data locked inside isolated systems. No one wanted their name attached to what could become the biggest event in the history of physics. Outside those walls, the noise only grew. Amateur astronomers uploaded blurry photos to forums. Popular science magazines tried to tell the story in the least frightening way possible. They will God franks. But the more they tried to simplify it, the more people felt that something enormous was being hidden. In a short interview, a former ESA engineer said just one sentence before walking off set. "The question isn't where it came from. The question is that it seems to know exactly what it's doing." That line spread faster than any official announcement. It knows exactly what it's doing. It sounded like a verdict, a truth no one dared to elaborate on. Behind closed doors, quiet exchanges intensified. A research group in Poland discovered that 3I Atlas didn't have a single gas tail, but a secondary luminous zone at its front, a light source, not a reflection. It was emitting energy. Meanwhile, a team in Japan analyzed its spectral output and found periodic fluctuations. Every 30 seconds, the light pulse rose and fell in perfect rhythm, like a heartbeat. They recalibrated the instruments, ruled out interference, ran tests again and again. The rhythm remained. Not mechanical error, not noise, a real pulse coming from the object itself. An internal report read, "No comet has rhythm. No natural body repeats at a fixed frequency. Only one type of object does that, one that is programmed." By mid-October, a series of internal emails leaked. Among them was a short exchange between ESA and NASA researchers. One message read, "We can no longer pretend this is a natural phenomenon. We are only delaying the truth." That phrase, "delaying the truth," was soon quoted across the media, marking the moment when science was forced to confront its own limits. Some researchers resigned, others went silent, choosing to keep collecting data rather than risk interpretation. But they all knew. Every eye in the astronomical community was fixed on 3I Atlas. By now, the object was heading toward the solar glare, where the sun's brilliance would blind every optical telescope. For several weeks, it would vanish completely, beyond the reach of any instrument on Earth. An observer in Chile told reporters, "It's ironic. Just when we most want to understand it, the universe hides it from us." As days passed, the news channels quieted. No more hourly updates, no more urgent headlines, just silence, as if the world was trying to forget it existed. But inside orbital control centers, no one slept. They monitored every last bit, every faint echo, before 3I Atlas disappeared behind the Sunday. They knew that when it emerged again in December, everything might be different. If it returned along the same trajectory, it would remain a mystery, but a natural one. Yet if it deviated, even by a few millionths of a degree, then everything we believed about nature, randomness, and the laws of physics would have to be rewritten from the beginning. With 3I Atlas now lost behind the sun, The scientific world entered a silence so dense it felt like pressure. No direct observation, no fresh measurements, only the final fragments of data, the last signals before the solar glare swallowed the object whole. In the control room at Darmstadt, eyes stayed fixed on dim radar screens. Faint echoes flickered, ghostly specks of light against infinite black. Every keystroke came slow and deliberate, as if the operators feared that even sound might disturb the stillness of the cosmos. Physicists began comparing the readings with the other interstellar visitors. Oumuamua, Diviai, Borisov, all were imperfect, natural, explainable. They spun, they wobbled, they scattered light unevenly. But 3I Atlas was none of those things. It didn't spin. It didn't drift. It didn't react. It simply moved. Steady, silent, obedient to something unseen, like a machine following code older than the sun itself. Within the internal chat groups, one ESA engineer wrote quietly, "We've seen strange phenomena before, but this is the first time the universe seems aware of being watched." Leaked emails from the research network deepened the unease. Some scientists debated the unthinkable, that 3I Atlas might be artificial, or at least self-directed, but no one dared publish. Every record was scrubbed. Meetings were held in locked rooms. Voices dropped to whispers. Outside, the world went on. The news cycle returned to weather and politics. But among those who still pointed telescopes toward Mars's orbit, there lingered a shared feeling, a hollow space where something vast and inexplicable had vanished. Amateur astronomers tried to capture its last light. All they found was a searing white patch, featureless, like a veil drawn over a secret. One scientist, before ending his final night shift, wrote a line in his notebook, "All we can do now is wait. And waiting may be the only thing left within our control." The world fell quiet. Telescopes slept, and in that quiet, a single question echoed across observatories. How will it return? And when it does, will it still be the same object we knew? The coming days would decide everything, the boundary between theory and truth, between data and imagination, between nature and whatever intelligence might lie beyond it. And so, 3I Atlas vanished, closing the first chapter of a story no branch of physics was ready to explain. Before we begin, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you won't miss the upcoming adventures across the stars we're about to explore together. The 3rd of October 2024, a moment of stillness, yet full of wonder over the skies of Mars. 3I Atlas approached the red planet, sliding past barren landscapes and thin, fragile atmosphere. Orbiters like Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, ExoMars, and Mars Express all focused their cameras on the same point. It was a rare opportunity, a zoom more than 20 times closer than Hubble, to observe an object previously known only through rough estimations. Scientists held their breath. Every image, every measurement was critical. The object's size, estimated mass, surface characteristics, each parameter had the potential to overturn established physical models. Before them lay an object unlike any comet previously observed. It did not spin, did not drift, yet it continued to emit gas at a steady rate. Analysis teams ran simulations continuously, testing every calculation, but the results only deepened their confusion. Each transmitted image was meticulously processed, removing stray light, calibrating spectral data, and comparing it to known objects. Unusual lines, patches of unevenly reflective surfaces, all combined into an enigmatic but captivating picture. Young engineers in the control room, veteran astronomers alike, all remained silent. Only the clicking of keyboards and data signals filled the space, creating a sense of both tension and quiet. 3I Atlas was not merely an object to observe. It was a challenge to human knowledge, an unspoken question. What is happening here, and why does it exist this way? The orbiters around Mars were not only capturing images, but also collecting spectral data, analyzing the gas and dust emitted by 3I Atlas. Every signal, every flicker of light was carefully examined, and all pointed to one strange conclusion. This object was completely unlike any comet observed before. As scientists focused intently on the numbers, if you're following along on your screen, hit subscribe and like right now so you can continue exploring the mysteries between the stars and not miss a single extraordinary moment from 3I Atlas. Returning to the data, the estimated size and mass of 3I Atlas shook the foundations of physical models. 33 billion tons, if accurate, meant it was far heavier than any typical comet could ever reach. Uneven reflective surfaces, strange angular glints, and absolute orbital stability all raised the same question in the researchers' minds. How could a natural object operate this way? ESA and NASA teams continuously exchanged data, compared every measurement, ran countless simulations, yet all reached a dead end. No theory could explain the phenomenon. An object emitting gas so forcefully, without spinning, without deviating, yet maintaining a perfectly stable orbit between the Sun and Mars. As the images were processed, even the smallest details were magnified for scrutiny. Straight lines, right angles, and unusual reflective patches suggested that 3I Atlas might not be a simple icy mass, but could contain artificial structures or a control mechanism humanity had never seen. The silence of the object, the silence of the observatories, created an atmosphere both tense and mysterious, as everyone waited for it to approach closer, preparing for data that could change everything we thought we knew. ESA and NASA teams continued running simulations without pause. They compared the measurements with previously observed comets, ran orbital prediction algorithms, and analyzed every tiny flicker of light. Spectral data revealed that the gas escaping from 3I Atlas contained unusual compounds. Some chemicals could be explained, but the majority appeared unnatural, unlike anything ever detected in a typical cometary environment. In the control rooms, engineers and physicists exchanged glances. No one spoke for long, only the soft blinking of instruments and the quiet breaths of people trying to grasp a phenomenon they had never encountered. They knew these images and data might be the first evidence, not only of a strange interstellar object, but also of possibilities in the universe they had never imagined. Radar signals from orbit showed that 3I Atlas's reflective structure was extraordinarily uniform. No turbulence, no irregular wobble, as if the object were actively maintaining its appearance for distant observation. Scientists began to suspect, if 3I Atlas was not natural, it could be a type of device, or at least an object with an operational mechanism beyond human understanding. Magnified images of reflective regions revealed right angles and straight lines, not caused by mist or scattered light. Every detail suggested a strange order, a balance that nature could scarcely produce on its own. Preliminary analyses hinted that the object might be far more complex than conventional astronomical models allowed. Researchers realized that if 3I Atlas continued its stable orbit, all physical predictions regarding comets and interstellar objects would need re-evaluation. Space around Mars remained quiet, but in the control centers, a subtle tension spread. Everyone understood that something unusual was unfolding before their eyes. The coming days would determine much. As the object approached closer, every measurement became critical. Even the smallest deviation could reveal a major mystery, a mystery humanity had never faced before. As 3I Atlas drew closer to Mars, orbital instruments operated at full capacity. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter tracked the object with optical sensors, while ExoMars recorded its spectral data, and Mars Express monitored radar signals. Each instrument provided a separate layer of data, a different cross-section of the strange object. Scientists continuously cross-referenced these layers, comparing every measurement to data from Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. But 3I Atlas was entirely different. Radar images revealed straight lines and right angles across the surface. These features were too precise to be natural. Spectral measurements showed unusual compounds appearing consistently, some found only in industrial synthetic environments, impossible to form naturally. The observation team proposed a series of hypotheses. Some suggested it might be an unusually dense rock, but density and mass measurements didn't align. Others proposed it could be an interstellar probe, capable of adjusting light reflection and gas emission. Each hypothesis raised more questions, and the more they analyzed, the more the possibility seemed plausible. Scientists observed, recorded, and compared even the tiniest fluctuations. The light emitted from the object produced periodic oscillations, like a slow heartbeat in space. No device on Mars or in orbit could generate this phenomenon. It was as if the object itself was breathing, reacting to its surroundings, even adjusting itself to maintain stability. Every passing hour revealed new data. Images from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter were processed with optimized software, removing noise and enhancing detail. The unusual reflective angles became clearer, like a painting composed of light and matter that humanity had never seen before. ExoMars provided detailed spectral data, showing that the gas emission remained consistent, and the surface temperature stayed at abnormal levels, unlike any comet previously observed. Every measurement confirmed one thing: 3I Atlas was not a natural object. The research team began asking critical questions. If this was an artificial object, what was its purpose? And if not, why would the universe allow an entirely illogical object to exist? Engineers and astronomers remained silent in the control rooms, communicating only through signals and data, their eyes fixed on the screens. The silence was not from lack of information, but the heavy weight of facing a phenomenon they could not yet explain. As the day progressed, 3I Atlas moved ever closer to Mars, harboring untold mysteries and posing questions that the entire scientific community would grapple with in the weeks to come. 3I Atlas passed near Mars, and every piece of collected data pointed to a single fact: this object was unlike any comet ever observed. Its orbital measurements, light reflections, and gas emissions did not align with conventional physical models. The research team could do nothing but record and analyze each parameter, waiting for the object to continue its path and capture whatever might happen next. In this moment, the object was just a tiny speck in space, yet every bit of data gathered would become the foundation for all future analysis. The anomalies, the uncertainties, all converged on the same question. What is 3I Atlas, really, and why is it here? Avi Loeb published his analysis shortly after the data from Mars had been processed. He listed 7 anomalies of 3I Atlas, divided into 2 groups, 4 that could be explained, and 3 that were entirely inexplicable. The explainable anomalies included its unusually large size, the direction of reflected light, the Nephi chemical ratio in its outgassed material, and light polarization. All of these factors could be accounted for by physics, albeit at extreme levels. The remaining 3 anomalies puzzled the scientific community. The orbit's precise inclination, the timing of its approach coinciding with planetary positions, and the object's statistically non-natural behavior. Loeb emphasized that considering all 7 anomalies together, the probability that 3I Atlas was a natural phenomenon was nearly 0. Every piece of evidence pointed to a single conclusion. This object might have been deliberately sent here, rather than wandering through the solar system by chance. His research team analyzed each anomaly in detail, comparing them with previous interstellar objects. Oumuamua and 2I Borisov both followed the basic laws of physics, strange as they were, but still explainable. 3I Atlas was entirely different. The precision of its orbit confounded statistical models. Its timing near planetary positions was not random, but seemingly pre-programmed. The light fluctuations and outgassing were also not random, appearing purposeful. Loeb raised a crucial question. If this were a natural object, why would it exhibit such illogical characteristics? If not, then this could be an artificial object, or at least a complex mechanism created by an intelligence. Astronomers began to suspect that 3I Atlas was not merely a comet or asteroid, but potentially a tool or a message, an object capable of self-operation, maintaining a stable orbit, and reflecting light in an orderly manner. These anomalies were not only astonishing, they forced humanity to reconsider its understanding of the cosmos. An object appearing near Mars, bearing both natural and unnatural features, posed a profound question about the boundary between nature and extraterrestrial intelligence. The final 3 anomalies were the ones that truly baffled the scientific community. First, the orbit's inclination was astonishingly precise. 3I Atlas moved with almost no deviation, just a few parts per million. No natural forces, no collisions, could keep an object so perfectly stable if it were natural. Second, the timing of its flybys past the planets. It appeared near the Sun and passed through the orbits of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, seemingly coinciding with planetary positions, with remarkable accuracy. Such alignment would be nearly impossible if the object were random. Third, its statistically non-natural behavior. The light fluctuations and outgassing were not random. They followed clear cycles and rhythms, as if the object were sending signals or deliberately regulating itself to maintain a certain order. These characteristics were not only difficult to explain, they suggested that the object might have a purpose or had been pre-programmed to appear here. Loeb emphasized that when these 3 anomalies are considered together with the 4 previously explainable ones, the likelihood of 3I Atlas being a natural object is virtually 0. Astronomers had to acknowledge that it could not be a conventional comet or asteroid. For the research team, this marked a pivotal moment. Every measurement, every observation from now on, was not just astronomical data, but evidence for a larger hypothesis. 3I Atlas might have been deliberately sent to the solar system with a purpose beyond human comprehension. No one had a definitive answer, but the scientific community agreed. This object opened a new chapter, a story that traditional science had never faced before. 3I Atlas kept defying the physicists. Orbital data from Mars's satellites showed the object venting gas at a constant rate over 150 kilograms per second, yet it exhibited no recoil, no wobble, no deviation. This behavior contradicted every Newtonian law they knew. Anything that expels matter must experience thrust, its path must shift, its body must spin or precess. But 3I Atlas maintained a perfect trajectory, advancing toward the inner planets as though guided by an invisible mechanism. Teams of physicists exhausted every possibility: hidden gravitational fields, magnetic interactions, even exotic aerodynamic effects in near vacuum. All failed. No hypothesis could account for such flawless stability. Spectral and radar scans revealed a surface of extreme density comparable to pure iron, while ordinary comets are scarcely a fraction of that. A massive, compact body that still outgassed evenly without measurable thrust defied every physical model. If the data were accurate, 3I Atlas could not be natural. All simulations of icy comets or interstellar debris collapsed under its precision. A young engineer noted in a logbook, "We're no longer facing nature. We're facing something beyond its laws." Signals were cross-checked repeatedly through independent instruments and observatories. Every reading matched. No instrument error, no calibration fault. And that made 3I Atlas absolutely irrational by human standards. The implications were staggering. Was the object self-correcting, or did some internal mechanism maintain its stability? Models were tested. If it spun for balance, the orbit would wobble. If it were lighter, exhaust would alter its course. If heavier, gravitational drag would curve the path. None of these happened. 3I Atlas moved exactly as plotted. One tentative idea emerged. Perhaps the object consisted of an ultra-dense, unknown material, capable of releasing gas without producing reaction force. But that remained speculation, impossible to verify. Astronomers began to realize that this was not merely strange, it was a direct challenge to modern physics itself. If the data held true, every textbook describing comets, Newtonian motion, and momentum exchange in space would have to be rewritten. The estimated mass of 3I Atlas stunned scientists, around 33 billion tons, many times greater than a typical comet. A body so massive that every physical model ever constructed failed to explain how it could maintain a stable orbit while continuously venting gas. Its extreme density was another anomaly. Spectral measurements, radar, and dynamical analyses all indicated the object was far denser than any comet previously observed. And astonishingly, it moved steadily, no wobble, no deviation. Physicists attempted to calculate reaction forces. If 3I Atlas were a natural object, the thrust from the outgassing should have caused oscillations, but the data showed none. The only plausible explanation was an internal mechanism, keeping the object stable. Even its reflected light offered no answers. The surface reflection was exceptionally uniform, appearing deliberately arranged, not a natural outcome. Straight lines, right angles, and evenly lit areas confirmed an unnatural structure. In the control room, scientists discussed urgently. Some proposed it could be an unknown physical mechanism, capable of absorbing energy and automatically adjusting its orbit. But this remained speculation, with no method to verify it. One researcher noted, "If this data is correct, 3I Atlas challenges physics itself and raises questions about the existence of undiscovered forms of matter. When out live, to different, repeated measurements reinforced a single conclusion. 3I Atlas could not be a natural object by any definition we know. Every model failed. Every hypothesis pointed to an absolutely illogical entity. The anomaly was not just that it vented gas without recoil, but that it maintained its orbit, stable brightness, and extreme density, all combined to form a phenomenon scientists had never encountered. Research teams began questioning the true nature of the object. Could this be an artificial device, or a new form of matter? A super-dense object humanity had never seen? They ran simulations ranging from classical Newtonian physics to speculative models involving recoil, counteraction, and energy absorption. The result was always the same. No model could explain it. The numbers, the data, the images, everything pointed to a single possibility. 3I Atlas is an unnatural phenomenon, an object that modern physical laws cannot explain. The reflected light from 3I Atlas remained a mystery. The evenly illuminated regions appeared at fixed angles, unaffected by surrounding dust or gas. This suggested an intrinsic order, a balance rarely produced by nature. The observed light fluctuations followed a steady rhythm, like the slow heartbeat of an invisible organism. Each pulse was recorded by ESA and NASA orbital sensors, repeating precisely according to the pattern, with no significant deviation. The outgassing from the object continued steadily, yet produced no noticeable recoil. Physicists calculated the expected forces. Given the outflow, the object's mass, and its extreme density, the recoil should have altered its orbit. But the data showed the orbit remained perfectly stable. Simulations ran from classical Newtonian physics to advanced models of force and matter interactions in space, yet none could reproduce the phenomenon. No reasonable explanation existed for how a heavy, dense object, venting gas continuously, could move steadily like a machine. An internal researcher wrote in the log, "We are facing an object that renders physical laws powerless. This is unprecedented in the history of astronomy." Radar data revealed a non-uniform structure. Bright regions and straight lines suggested the surface was not rock or ice, but possibly a reflective material or a coating capable of self-adjusting its light. This led to hypotheses about a self-regulating mechanism, an internal system maintaining orbit stability, even light reflection, and controlling outgassing. No method existed to verify this theory. Every measurement, image, and dataset reinforced a single conclusion. 3I Atlas is absolutely illogical. No natural object could simultaneously maintain strong outgassing, no rotation, stable orbit, uniform light reflection, and extreme density. Physicists began asking broader questions. If this is not natural, could it be artificial, or at least a form of matter never observed before, something unprecedented in the observable universe? With each passing hour of observation, the scientific community realized that 3I Atlas was not just an anomaly, but a direct challenge to how we understand the universe. Recent measurements confirm that 3I Atlas has an extremely high density, nearly that of pure iron, while a typical comet is only a fraction of that. This ultra-dense object continues to vent gas continuously, yet its orbit remains unchanged. No wobble, no rotation, no deviation. Each new piece of data forces physicists to revisit all hypotheses. If an object this massive can outgas, its orbit should fluctuate, and the recoil should shift its trajectory. But everything stays perfectly stable. Radar and spectral analyses reveal a non-uniform surface with unusual bright regions, straight lines, and sharply defined angles. Reflected light signals are extremely uniform, unaffected by surrounding dust or gas. These observations indicate a non-natural order. The research team ran extreme scenario simulations, from recoil forces due to outgassing to magnetic interactions and energy absorption. Yet no model could reproduce the object's stability. An internal physicist noted, "We are no longer dealing with conventional physics. This exceeds anything we have ever known." The light fluctuations follow a regular cycle, like a slow heartbeat in space. Each pulse is recorded precisely by multiple instruments, with no significant deviation, as if the object is self-regulating its behavior. The outgassing is steady yet produces no measurable thrust, and the object continues along its orbit unchanged. Scientists cannot find a reasonable explanation. Every measurement confirms that 3I Atlas is utterly illogical. Hypotheses about an internal self-regulating mechanism were considered. The object could maintain its orbit, stabilize light reflection, and regulate outgassing. But no one can verify this. All data point to the unnatural, something never before seen in modern physics. Pressure mounts as 3I Atlas approaches the Sunday. Even the slightest deviation in data could overturn every theory. Researchers begin asking the big question: if this is an artificial object, or a previously unknown form of matter, what is its significance to the universe? With each passing hour of observation, the absurdity of 3I Atlas becomes clearer. It is not merely an anomaly, but a direct challenge to our understanding of physics and astronomy. As data from multiple orbiting instruments were compiled, a clear picture began to emerge. 3I Atlas was not only anomalous, but it challenged all of the physics humanity had ever known. Classical Newtonian models, calculations of recoil forces, and comet simulations previously applied, all failed to reproduce the object's stable orbit and steady outgassing. Scientists began considering more extreme possibilities. Some proposed that the object might have an internal self-regulating mechanism, maintaining its orbit and the rhythm of its light fluctuations. Yet no one had verified that such a mechanism could exist. Spectral and radar analyses indicated the surface has uniform bright areas, straight lines, and sharply defined angles. No signs of random disturbances or natural irregularities. These details reinforce the hypothesis that 3I Atlas could be an artificial object, or at least a form of matter previously unknown. Physicists noted every small detail: cyclical light oscillations, outgassing producing negligible reactive force, ultra-high density. All phenomena illogical according to any current theory. An internal researcher wrote in the log, "Every measurement only confirms we are facing a phenomenon beyond classical physics. If 3I Atlas is natural, the universe is mocking us. All simulation models failed. No Newtonian physics, no force interaction hypothesis could explain all observations simultaneously." Some scientists began to discuss the possibility that 3I Atlas was a probe or a programmed object with an internal adjustment mechanism, but all evidence remained indirect. As the object drew closer to the sun, the pressure on observations increased. Every bit of data mattered. Even a minor error could lead to a flawed conclusion. The provisional conclusion was clear: 3I Atlas is an unnatural phenomenon, an object that modern physics cannot explain. Every analysis, every model pointed in one direction. Further research is needed. More detailed data must be collected, and humanity must prepare for possibilities never before imagined. With each passing hour, the object continued its motion, and its absurdity became increasingly evident. 3I Atlas was not just an interstellar comet, it was a challenge to the entirety of human knowledge about the universe. As all data were analyzed, scientists began to realize a crucial implication. 3I Atlas was not only physically illogical, but also raised profound questions about its origin and purpose. If an object could maintain a perfectly stable orbit, reflect light with uniform precision, and vent gas without generating recoil, it hinted at the possibility of an intelligent or self-regulating mechanism within. Physicists and astronomers began holding closed discussions. Could this be an artificial interstellar object, a probe sent into the solar system? Or was it a form of matter never before known, capable of sustaining its own illogical behavior? Internal meetings grew tense, filled with data charts, spreadsheets, and simulations stretching across screens. Every measurement, every decimal was scrutinized. If 3I Atlas could manipulate its orbit or control its light reflection, then the involvement of extraterrestrial intelligence was no longer a fringe hypothesis. An astronomer wrote in a private log, "We are no longer confronting pure nature. We are confronting something that might understand or respond to us." Current physical models showed one undeniable truth. No natural object could simultaneously exhibit ultra-high density, steady outgassing, and orbital stability. Every parameter pointed toward the unnatural. With each new measurement, the possibility that 3I Atlas was self-regulating or intelligent grew stronger. Precise calculations, orbital readings, and radar echoes all reinforced the same conclusion. This was no coincidence. Physicists began asking the larger question: purpose. If 3I Atlas was artificial, what was it sent for? Observation, reconnaissance, or simply a relic drifting through time from a distant civilization? Inside the control centers, people stared silently at the monitors. The dim light from instruments reflected off tired faces, a reminder that every data point mattered, and every interpretation carried weight. Finally, a provisional conclusion was recorded. 3I Atlas represents a complete physical anomaly, beyond the explanatory reach of modern science. Every model, every theory converged on one possibility. The object may be the product of extraterrestrial intelligence, or a form of matter and mechanism unknown to humankind. This moment marked a turning point, from merely observing a strange phenomenon to acknowledging that it could redefine humanity's understanding of the universe itself. Spectral analyses from Mars' orbit revealed something that truly unsettled the scientific community. The gases venting from 3I Atlas contained chemical compounds that do not exist in nature. Nickel tetracarbonyl, NiCO, appeared repeatedly in the readings. A toxic, volatile industrial compound once used in metallurgical refining on Earth. But why would an interstellar object contain it? Scientists rechecked every layer of data: infrared spectra, radar echoes, chemical modeling. Everything confirmed the same signature. No instrument malfunction, no calibration error. There were only two explanations. Either the object was artificial, or it harbored a chemical process unknown to natural physics. Speculation erupted inside ESA and NASA. Some proposed that 3I Atlas might be a probe engineered to vent gas in precise ratios like a self-regulating interstellar machine. Others suggested an exotic form of matter capable of synthesizing complex compounds on its own, a kind of autochemical entity. This discovery triggered a cascade of new problems. If synthetic compounds truly existed within the object, there had to be an internal energy source sustaining continuous emission. A rate of 150 kilograms of gas per second for months implied a persistent power system, meaning 3I Atlas was not just unnatural but operational. No comet could maintain such chemical stability. No natural process could create nickel tetracarbonyl in deep space. All evidence pointed toward a disturbing conclusion. The object was running an artificial chemical reaction, something beyond biology, beyond geology, beyond nature. An internal report included a haunting line. If this is natural, chemistry is operating in a way no one can model. If artificial, this is direct evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. It's a gray dyed. In the graph, and righted, and Donnelly died. Engineers attempted to replicate the gas flow with terrestrial machinery. Every attempt failed. The emissions of 3I Atlas were too consistent, too balanced, too controlled for any known mechanism. And so, the questions deepened. If 3I Atlas could generate and sustain such compounds, did it contain its own energy core, a hidden reactor, or perhaps a form of quantum energy conversion unknown to human science? Could it even be a biochemical process, one from a chemistry that does not belong to Earth? Researchers began referring to the phenomenon as the chemical nightmare. As Urquitness, it combined three impossible features: continuous outgassing synthetic compounds and unwavering stability in space. Every hypothesis, no matter how radical, led to the same uneasy conclusion. 3I Atlas is not a product of ordinary nature. Scientists began simulating the gas release mechanism of 3I Atlas. If that amount of gas were produced by a natural physical process, its orbit should have shifted, yet the trajectory remained perfectly stable. This suggested the presence of a regulating mechanism inside the object, a kind of chemical engine continuously reproducing compounds, maintaining the outflow of gas, and simultaneously stabilizing the orbit. Every measurement reinforced the same hypothesis. The object was non-natural, or at least operated through a chemical process never before known. Earth-based laboratories tried to recreate the phenomenon. Artificial chemical reactions, gas generation chambers, none could maintain the precise ratio or rhythm seen in 3I Atlas. Compounds like Nico-Ki vented steadily, while the orbit held firm. A feat no terrestrial machine could achieve. A researcher wrote in the internal notes, "We are facing a phenomenon that modern physics and chemistry cannot yet explain. If this is artificial, it is direct evidence of a distant intelligence." Spectral data revealed that the compounds were emitted in rhythmic cycles, as if the object were programmed to sustain equilibrium. The team could not identify any natural mechanism capable of this balance. The simultaneous stability of both orbit and gas release was a paradox. Physicists began to suspect that if the object were artificial, its internal system might be synthesizing compounds and controlling behavior, a form of chemical machine humanity had never encountered. This raised broader implications. If 3I Atlas could create and maintain synthetic compounds, then it defied not only physics but also chemistry and energy theory. Scientists debated whether it drew power from the sun or from an internal energy source, sustaining a perpetual reaction. The anomaly forced ESA and NASA to reevaluate every dataset. Each measurement, every bit of data became crucial. Even a small error could distort the models and overturn the entire explanation. Finally, a provisional conclusion was reached. 3I Atlas is a non-natural chemical phenomenon, An object operating in a way humanity has never witnessed, a seamless fusion of chemistry, physics, and self-regulating intelligence. Researchers began exploring the possibility that 3I Atlas contained an internal chemical mechanism, a kind of self-sustaining chemical furnace capable of regenerating complex compounds such as nicoquar, while continuously venting gas without altering its orbit. They modeled several scenarios. If its energy came from the sun, the object would have to absorb and convert radiation far more efficiently than any body ever observed. If the energy were internal, it implied an unknown quantum or biochemical source at work within. Comparisons with ordinary comets revealed no parallel. No natural body could sustain constant outgassing, uniform light reflection, extreme density, and still maintain perfect orbital stability. Both physical and chemical models collapsed under the data. Some scientists proposed a bold idea, the autochemical device hypothesis, that 3I Atlas functioned as an interstellar machine, venting gases in measured cycles, continuously reproducing compounds, and modulating its reflective output. Though still unproven, every dataset seemed to fit. The periodic light oscillations, the synthetic compounds, and the orbital precision. None could be explained by known natural processes. Physicists began to realize that, if this hypothesis held, the object operated as a living chemical engine, an artificial construct, or, at the very least, a form of matter with self-regulating chemistry never seen before. The implications were staggering. 3I Atlas defied not only physics, but chemistry and energy theory as well. All observations suggested that the object optimized energy and chemical reactions with deliberate precision, something that could not be the product of chance. One researcher noted, "We are witnessing an entity that follows its own laws. If natural, nature has exceeded all current models. If artificial, this is the first tangible proof of extraterrestrial intelligence." Control centers kept recording data, every tiny measurement treated as vital. Each passing hour reinforced the same conclusion. 3I Atlas is not a natural object, but a non-natural chemical phenomenon with an internal mechanism sustaining continuous gas emission. Teams began preparing new simulations. Every formula, model, and parameter had to account for one possibility, that if the object was truly artificial, its chemical signatures might constitute direct evidence of an intelligence beyond Earth. The fusion of chemical and physical impossibilities had earned it a fitting name among researchers, the chemical nightmare. It is a past. All they could do was watch, compute, and record, knowing that even the smallest deviation might rewrite the entire hypothesis. The spectral data were analyzed in greater detail. Not only NICOP appeared, but also several other compounds never before seen in nature. Each molecule was identified, and every ratio was recorded with precision. Scientists quickly realized that this chemical pattern could not occur by chance. The proportions of compounds, the periodic gas emissions, and the perfectly consistent light reflectivity all matched an optimized mechanism, as if the object were a machine pre-programmed for regulation. All Earth-based simulations failed. No laboratory could reproduce a steady gas flow containing industrial compounds while maintaining a perfectly stable orbit. Every conclusion pointed to a single possibility. The object was non-natural or artificial. This impossibility astonished not only chemists, but also physicists, astronomers, and energy theorists. If the object could sustain a continuous chemical reaction, it required a stable power source. and a complex internal control system unknown to science. The research team began to discuss a new idea. Perhaps 3I Atlas was an interstellar chemical engine, an autonomous system maintaining gas emissions, regenerating complex compounds, and adjusting its surface to preserve constant reflectivity. Physicists soon realized that if this hypothesis were true, 3I Atlas was no longer a natural phenomenon, but an intelligent construct or a form of matter unknown to humankind. All collected data reinforced the same conclusion. The object optimized its energy and chemistry, operating with deliberate precision, not by chance. Some scientists began to ask the inevitable question: could this be the product of extraterrestrial intelligence? If so, then 3I Atlas was not only a physical anomaly, but also a chemical message, a kind of encoded data hidden within its vented gases. Control centers continued collecting every possible measurement. Even the smallest deviation could reshape the hypothesis. The research teams understood that every analysis would lay the foundation for future studies, and that any coming conclusion could redefine how humanity understands the universe. The fusion of chemical and physical impossibilities had created a true chemical nightmare, one whose implications now reached across every theory about the nature of 3I Atlas. Scientists began to imagine the inner workings of 3I Atlas, a self-sustaining system of chemical reactions that regenerated non-natural compounds, regulated gas emissions and light reflection, all simultaneously, something no natural object could ever do. The research teams ran numerous simulations. Hypotheses involving internal engines, quantum energy sources, or unknown biochemical mechanisms were all tested, yet none of the models fit the data completely. They realized that if the object were artificial, it had been programmed to operate continuously, maintaining a stable orbit and consistent gas release. The presence of non-natural compounds was clear evidence that the internal system functioned in an intelligent, regulated way. The periodic light oscillations strengthened this hypothesis. The object appeared to self-adjust, to preserve its equilibrium. Every pulse of light, every stream of gas, seemed to be controlled deliberately. These analyses led to a profound implication. 3I Atlas defied not only physics, but chemistry and control theory itself. All existing physical and chemical models failed to explain it, a physicist noted in the internal report. If this is a natural phenomenon, then nature has surpassed every law we know. If it is artificial, this is the first direct evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence acting within the solar system. The SEER researchers continued to analyze, recording even the smallest fragments of spectral and radar data, aware that a single error could overturn the entire hypothesis. The preliminary conclusion was clear. 3I Atlas is a non-natural phenomenon, an object with an internal chemical mechanism that sustains continuous gas emission, uniform light reflection, and a perfectly stable orbit. Scientists began preparing for the next phase of analysis. Every dataset would be re-examined, every hypothesis tested, each measurement either reinforcing or challenging the competing theories of the object's origin. This moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, an interstellar anomaly with unknown physical and chemical systems, a challenge that could redefine the boundaries of human scientific understanding. One of the strangest aspects of 3I Atlas is that it does not rotate. Unlike any comet or celestial body previously observed, the object maintains stable reflected light without the periodic oscillations typical of spinning bodies. Measurements from the orbiters around Mars and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter show no signs of rotation, no directional light fluctuations. All bright areas on its surface appear fixed, despite the forces from outgassing or solar energy absorption. The research team faced a paradox. Every natural object spins. When a mass emits gas, its orbit and surface should experience oscillations. But 3I Atlas does not. It is perfectly stable, as if programmed to maintain its state. Physicists began proposing hypotheses. Perhaps the object is covered by an artificial gas layer, dispersing outgassing forces and stabilizing reflected light. Another idea. The object possesses a reflective regulation mechanism, automatically adjusting its surface so that reflected light remains uniform, despite environmental influences. Data from radar and spectroscopy support these hypotheses. The surface shows no deformation, no vibrations. Reflection angles remain orderly, with a stability that nature could hardly produce. A researcher noted in the internal log, if the object spun like a typical comet, all the measurements would change. But 3I Atlas remains constant, as if it knows we are observing it. This phenomenon raises a critical question. Does the object have awareness or an intelligent mechanism? If not, what physical process maintains both orbit and reflected light so perfectly? Scientists recognize this as one of the most difficult to explain challenges of the entire 3I Atlas phenomenon. Researchers began simulating mechanisms that could keep 3I Atlas stable. If the object were covered by an artificial gas layer on its surface, the outgassing forces would be evenly distributed, maintaining a stable orbit, while also keeping reflected light constant. Another hypothesis emerged. The object might have a sophisticated light reflection regulation system, automatically adjusting its surface so that bright areas remain stable, regardless of environmental forces or outgassing. Spectroscopic data show that the reflected light does not change over time. Bright regions and reflection angles remain uniform, with no detectable oscillations. This supports the hypothesis of an internal self-regulating mechanism, a system within the object that humans have never seen before. The research team tested multiple physical models: gravitational forces, gas recoil, magnetic interactions, and solar energy effects, but no model could explain the phenomenon. A super-dense object, continuously emitting gas, yet not rotating, still maintaining a stable orbit and uniform reflected light. An astronomer noted, if this is a natural phenomenon, nature has achieved the impossible. If artificial, this object functions as a highly sophisticated machine, programmed to preserve all its characteristics. In Messigli reparted, and the Dockley of self the blosses, physicists realized that this lack of rotation is not only physically paradoxical, but when combined with outgassing and stable light reflection, it creates an extraordinarily complex phenomenon. With each hour of observation, orbital instruments recorded the tiniest fluctuations, yet all parameters remained perfectly stable. This raises the possibility. 3I Atlas may be a programmed object, or at least a form of matter unknown to science, existing for billions of years. The research team began discussing the scientific implications. If this internal mechanism truly exists, all physical laws regarding rotation, recoil, and orbital dynamics would need to be reconsidered. 3I Atlas is no longer a typical comet or interstellar object. It is a composite, paradoxical phenomenon, challenging all knowledge humanity has ever constructed. One of the most striking hypotheses suggests that 3I Atlas may function as an optical regulation machine, Instead of rotating like an ordinary comet, the object appears to adjust its own surface to keep reflected light perfectly stable. Its bright regions remain uniform, showing no directional variation, like a sophisticated optical system that somehow understands how to preserve constant illumination. Traditional physical models cannot account for this phenomenon. Continuous outgassing, super high density, and an unwavering orbit together form a complete physical paradox. No natural force can sustain all these factors simultaneously. The research team simulated numerous scenarios: gas recoil forces, magnetic interactions, and solar energy absorption. All failed. Only the optical regulation machine hypothesis fit the data. If this is correct, 3I Atlas is not merely non-natural, it is a programmed or fine-tuned object, operating with deliberate precision. Its periodic light oscillations, uniform reflection, and steady gas emissions are all controlled with an accuracy nature could never achieve. As one physicist wrote, "We are observing a system whose control mechanism works flawlessly, as if it knows exactly how to maintain perfect equilibrium." This led to deeper questions about its origin. Could it be the product of extraterrestrial intelligence, a self-operating machine, or perhaps a new form of matter born in the earliest moments after the Big Bang? The phenomenon opens an entirely new chapter. An interstellar object beyond comprehension, a physical optical system unknown to science, yet maintaining its stability across the vast emptiness of interstellar space. The research team reached a quiet consensus. Every natural hypothesis had failed. Every dataset pointed toward absolute artificiality, and 3I Atlas might indeed be an optical regulation machine, a mechanism of staggering sophistication, far beyond the limits of human understanding. As the scientists assembled their findings, they began to understand that the absence of rotation was not merely a physical anomaly. It might be a sign of sophistication, or even intelligence, embedded within 3I Atlas. If the object could maintain a stable orbit, reflect light uniformly, and continuously emit gas without recoil, then it might be functioning as a programmed device. Every flicker of light, every stream of expelled gas, seemed precisely regulated, each part of a design aimed at perfect equilibrium. Bold new hypotheses emerged. Could this be an interstellar probe, a self-operating machine, or an artificial construct from a civilization unimaginably distant? All modern physical models failed. No known force could sustain such extreme density, steady outgassing, stable orbit, and consistent reflection simultaneously. A physicist wrote, "We are observing a phenomenon that renders our physical laws powerless. If this object is natural, nature itself has surpassed every boundary we know. If artificial, it is the first tangible evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence." Mission centers continued gathering data. Every measurement mattered. Each tiny deviation could rewrite the entire theory. The team knew that future analyses would define the true nature of this paradox. The absolute stability of 3I Atlas raised fundamental questions about the limits of physics and chemistry, about how humanity perceives the universe, and about whether mechanisms might exist that intelligence has never yet imagined. The rotation that doesn't exist, the researchers confronted a truth. 3I Atlas is not only physically impossible, it is a composite phenomenon, blending physics, chemistry, and internal regulation in ways humanity has never encountered. And this realization opened the door to the next chapter, the thermal ghost, where scientists would attempt to understand how 3I Atlas maintains its unnatural temperature, despite the immense energy of the sun surrounding it. 3I Atlas continues to astonish. As the object approaches the sun, all predictions about its temperature fail. Data from the orbit around Mars and observation stations indicate the object absorbs gigawatts of solar energy, yet maintains an unusually cold temperature without evaporating water or altering its trajectory like a normal comet. Scientists immediately realized that no natural object could achieve this. Every physical model, from energy absorption to evaporation, predicts that 3I Atlas should heat up, even generating a strong outflow of gas. But actual data show it remains stable and cold, like a thermal ghost. A physicist noted in their journal, "We cannot explain this. It absorbs enormous energy yet does not heat up." All classical physics theories collapse before this phenomenon. The research team hypothesized 3I Atlas may possess an intrinsic thermal regulation mechanism, a form of quantum cooling device, or an advanced energy management system, helping maintain internal temperature despite absorbed energy. Experimental simulations on Earth failed completely. No system can absorb such intense energy and maintain a stable temperature like this object. Infrared and spectroscopic measurements all confirm the paradoxical phenomenon. The surface temperature does not rise despite continuous incoming energy. Scientists began to propose even bolder hypotheses. Could this be an artificial device, a machine capable of regulating energy, or a material mechanism unknown to science, existing for billions of years? Every piece of collected data reinforces this hypothesis. No natural object could keep such a stable temperature while continuously receiving energy from the sunday. This represents one of the greatest challenges in astrophysics. Physicists must consider extreme scenarios, from quantum energy to unknown mechanisms of energy absorption and dissipation. None replicate the phenomenon. Every natural hypothesis fails. Some researchers ask, could 3I Atlas generate its own energy, redistributing heat to maintain a cold state? If so, this object is a perfect energy system, completely unlike any astronomical phenomenon ever observed. Scientists began comparing 3I Atlas with ordinary comets. Normal comets, when exposed to the sun's energy, heat up, evaporate water, and generate strong outflows, accompanied by orbital oscillations and uneven light reflections. 3I Atlas is entirely different. Despite absorbing gigawatts of energy, its surface temperature remains almost constant. Outgassing is steady, but it causes no deflection, no rotational oscillation, and the reflected light stays uniform. These measurements reinforce the hypothesis that the object possesses an intrinsic thermal regulation mechanism, a form of quantum cooling device or a sophisticated energy regulator, helps maintain a cold state despite solar energy input. The research team attempted to simulate similar comets in the laboratory. No object could remain stable while absorbing such immense energy. Outgassing generates reactive forces, altering orbits and causing light fluctuations. Yet 3I Atlas remains unchanged, like a thermal ghost, defying all known physical theories. A physicist noted, normal comets could never achieve this state. 3I Atlas operates in a way that classical physics cannot explain. Radar and spectroscopic data show surface regions reflect light evenly, outgassing is uniform, and temperature does not rise. All evidence points to a synthetic mechanism, unnatural, beyond any cometary or interstellar body theory. Researchers ask, could 3I Atlas use an internal energy source to maintain its temperature? If so, it represents a self-generating energy mechanism combined with chemical and optical systems to regulate the entire phenomenon. This phenomenon opens an entirely new field of study, exploring unnatural mechanisms that integrate physics, chemistry, and energy. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet. It is a composite phenomenon, an interstellar thermal ghost, a challenge to all of humanity's knowledge. The research team began imagining the internal mechanism of 3I Atlas. If the object is truly an energy-regulating machine, it could absorb immense energy from the sun while keeping its surface temperature stable. This is completely contrary to any comet ever observed. Every comet, when exposed to energy, heats up, evaporates water, and oscillates. But 3I Atlas seems to maintain equilibrium on its own, resisting all forces from the surrounding environment. Physicists tested multiple models, quantum cooling devices, internal energy sources, and outgassing regulation mechanisms. All simulations failed. Without introducing a previously unknown mechanism, the uniform light fluctuations, steady outgassing, and near constant temperature together create a synthetic, unnatural phenomenon. The team began to suspect, could the object possess consciousness or an automatic control system? Hypotheses expanded to suggest 3I Atlas might be an interstellar program device, a self-operating machine designed to maintain its orbit, regulate energy, and preserve a stable surface. Control centers continued collecting data. Every small measurement mattered. Any deviation could alter the hypotheses. The team understood that every analysis would determine whether this mechanism is unnatural or artificial. If the hypothesis is correct, 3I Atlas is not just an interstellar comet, but also an energy-regulating machine, a composite phenomenon of physics, chemistry, and optics, never before known to humanity. The existence of such a mechanism raises profound questions. Could the universe harbor more objects like 3I Atlas, equipped with self-regulating mechanisms, capable of surviving for billions of years without human detection? This phenomenon not only changes the understanding of comets, but challenges the entirety of astrophysics. 3I Atlas becomes a thermal ghost, a phenomenon that modern theories cannot yet explain. Scientists began comparing 3I Atlas's data with that of ordinary comets. While normal comets heat up when absorbing the sun's energy, evaporating water, producing strong outflows, and oscillating in their orbits, 3I Atlas maintains a stable cold temperature, outgassing steadily without deflecting from its trajectory, and reflecting light uniformly. Measurements from orbit, infrared, and radar indicate the object's surface remains unchanged, without trembling or oscillation. This reinforces the hypothesis of a quantum cooling device or an intrinsic energy-regulating mechanism, a sophisticated system never before observed by humans. The research team attempted to simulate comets under similar conditions. All models failed. Natural, physical, and chemical comets cannot maintain stable temperatures while absorbing immense energy. Yet 3I Atlas does. It behaves like a thermal ghost, challenging the foundations of astrophysics. A physicist noted, "If this is a natural phenomenon, nature has surpassed all known limits. If artificial, this could be the first evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence directly influencing the solar system." Control centers continue to collect data. Every minor measurement is crucial, since any deviation could shift the hypotheses. The team understands that upcoming analyses will be the basis for a deeper understanding of the object's paradoxical nature and its mechanism for maintaining a cold temperature. This phenomenon opens an entirely new field of research, exploring unnatural mechanisms that integrate physics, chemistry, and energy, a challenge never encountered before. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet. It is an interstellar thermal ghost, a composite phenomenon never before observed by humanity. The research team began questioning the internal energy source of 3I Atlas. If the object can maintain a stable temperature without relying on the sun's energy, it must possess its own energy-generating system, redistributing and regulating power to keep its surface cold. If this hypothesis is correct, it suggests the object could be an interstellar machine, not only absorbing energy but also regenerating, regulating, and distributing it in a manner never observed by modern science. Infrared and radar data show the surface temperature remains nearly constant, light reflections are uniform, and outgassing occurs steadily. All elements operate in extremely precise coordination. Scientists realize that 3I Atlas is a composite phenomenon, integrating physics, chemistry, and energy, an unnatural mechanism never before witnessed by human intelligence. The provisional conclusion: 3I Atlas maintains its unusual cold temperature through an intrinsic mechanism capable of absorbing, regulating, and distributing energy efficiently, an interstellar thermal ghost, unnatural and paradoxical, according to all current models. This phenomenon raises a profound question. Could there be many objects like 3I Atlas in the universe, with self-regulating energy mechanisms existing for billions of years without ever being detected by humanity? Scientists began a detailed comparison of 3I Atlas with ordinary comets in the solar system. Normal comets, when exposed to the sun's energy, heat up, creating surface vapor pressure, uneven outgassing, and slight orbital oscillations. 3I Atlas is entirely different. Despite absorbing gigawatts of energy, its surface temperature remains stable, outgassing occurs steadily, and reflected light is uniform. All fluctuations are perfectly regulated. Simulations on Earth cannot reproduce this phenomenon. Artificial cooling systems, or thermal test chambers, cannot maintain stable temperatures while absorbing large amounts of energy. Outgassing generates force, yet 3I Atlas keeps its orbit, and reflected light remains constant. The research team proposed a more detailed hypothesis about its internal mechanism. The object may have a reflective network, combined with systems for absorbing, distributing, and radiating energy, maintaining its cold state. Like a self-operating quantum regulator, cyclic light fluctuations, uniform bright regions, and steady outgassing all work in perfect coordination. There is no evidence of randomness. The team began to suspect the object may possess a sophisticated mechanism or even intelligence. Control centers continuously collect data. Every measurement is critical, as any error could alter the hypotheses. Physical and chemical simulations fail. The entire phenomenon is paradoxical. A scientist noted, "If this is a natural object, nature has surpassed all laws. If artificial, this is the first evidence of an extraterrestrial energy-regulating machine." The scientific implications are profound. It opens the possibility of unnatural interstellar objects with self-regulating physical, chemical, and energy mechanisms. This discovery could change humanity's understanding of the universe, the limits of physics, and the existence of sophisticated mechanisms. Analysis of combined radar, spectroscopic, and infrared data paints a clear picture. 3I Atlas is a thermal ghost, an unnatural phenomenon, a complex composite system that modern science cannot explain. The research team considered expanded hypotheses. The object may generate its own energy, regulate temperature, outgassing and reflected light, functioning as a sophisticated interstellar machine, and potentially existing for billions of years before appearing in the solar system. Physicists began to consider a deeper hypothesis. 3I Atlas might be a cue ball, a macroscopic soliton particle, a remnant from the era of the Big Bang, a vast quantum entity capable of sustaining its own energy, emitting gas and dust in a perfectly regulated rhythm. The concept of cue balls is not new in particle physics theory, but observing an interstellar object like 3I Atlas through this lens would be unprecedented. If true, it would not be a comet or any ordinary celestial body, but an ancient quantum structure, operating under self-sustaining, unnatural behavior. Scientists ran computer simulations of cue balls, including their ability to generate energy, interact with solar radiation, and maintain structural stability across interstellar space. Results suggest that a cue ball could explain many of 3I Atlas's anomalies: its stable orbit, uniform light reflection, continuous gas emission, and unusually cold temperature. Spectroscopic analyses detected compounds such as NiCO and other non-natural molecular traces. Most observations could be interpreted through the internal dynamics of a cue ball, a system that regenerates energy and maintains perfect physical-chemical balance, something no ordinary comet can achieve. Astronomers began envisioning a scenario: a cue ball drifting through galaxies for billions of years, interacting minimally with its surroundings, only to appear unexpectedly in the solar system as an ancient cosmic visitor. One physicist wrote, "If 3I Atlas is a cue ball, this would be the first evidence of a macroscopic quantum object, surviving since the Big Bang, a self-sustaining mechanism defying every classical observation. And it no escape to the temple. Modern physical models cannot explain how it maintains its orbit, outgassing, and temperature if it were merely an icy comet." The cue ball hypothesis is the only one that rationalizes the entire phenomenon. ESA and NASA control centers continue collecting data. Every measurement matters, as each could either strengthen or disprove the cue ball theory. Light oscillations, temperature variations, and gas emissions are being recorded with extreme precision. This hypothesis opens a striking vision. 3I Atlas might not just be an interstellar object, but a self-operating quantum machine, a relic of the Big Bang, carrying unknown energy and mechanisms that remain active to this day. Physicists admit that if the cue ball hypothesis is correct, then classical physics explains only part of reality, and a macroscopic quantum mechanism is quietly governing the behavior of this object. Scientists focused on analyzing the gases and surface of 3I Atlas under the cue ball hypothesis. If the object is indeed a cue ball, the outgassing observed would not result from ordinary evaporation, but from internal quantum energy reactions. The emitted gases appear steady and continuous, yet they cause no orbital drift and produce no fluctuation in reflected light. The uniformly bright surface regions may be explained by a self-adjusting optical mechanism within the cue ball. The straight lines, reflective angles, and rhythmic light variations show no trace of randomness, as though a quantum optical system were pre-programmed to regulate them. The research team simulated several cue ball scenarios, including energy regeneration, solar radiation, absorption, and surface stability. Results indicated that only the cue ball model could account for Tres-I Atlas's paradoxical features: its stable orbit, uniform reflectivity, continuous gas emission, and unusually cold temperature. Spectroscopic data also align with this theory. The detection of NiCO and other non-natural compounds could be sustained by the cue ball's internal mechanism. It both conserves and redistributes energy, regulating its gaseous output like an ancient quantum engine, still operating after billions of years drifting through the galaxy. Astronomers envisioned a haunting scenario. The cue ball enters the solar system as an ancient visitor, drifting past planets, interacting minimally with its environment, yet leaving modern science stunned. A physicist noted, "If 3I Atlas is a cue ball, this marks humanity's first direct observation of a macroscopic quantum particle surviving since the Big Bang, a self-operating entity, defying all classical physical expectations, while preserving its orbit, gas flow, surface, and energy." ESA and NASA control centers continue to record every micro-variation. Precise measurements of light, temperature, and outgassing could either confirm or refute the cue ball hypothesis. Every bit of data matters. Each detail may unveil how the internal mechanism functions. This phenomenon opens a new frontier of research, investigating unnatural mechanisms that merge physics, chemistry, and energy. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet. It is a self-operating quantum machine, a composite phenomenon unlike anything humanity has ever witnessed. Scientists began considering the internal energy source of 3I Atlas. If the object is a cue ball, it could generate its own energy, not relying entirely on sunlight or surrounding gravitational forces. Outgassing, surface features, and reflected light could be regulated by the internal quantum energy mechanism. The cue ball maintains a stable state over billions of years, remaining active upon entering the solar system, undisturbed by gravitational fields or radiation. The research team simulated interactions with the environment, including gravitational forces, solar radiation, and planetary encounters. Results indicate that a cue ball could maintain a stable orbit, reflect light uniformly, and emit gas steadily, a phenomenon impossible to explain with a natural object. Astronomers began envisioning the cue ball as a macroscopic quantum particle, existing since the Big Bang, drifting through galaxies, interacting minimally with its surroundings, and suddenly appearing in the solar system. A physicist noted, "If this is a cue ball, it is the first evidence of a macroscopic quantum object surviving from the Big Bang, a self-sustaining mechanism, paradoxical to all classical physical observations, still maintaining its orbit, gas emissions, and surface stability." ESA and NASA control centers continue collecting data. Every measurement is critical, as any error could alter the hypothesis. The research team understands that all analyses will determine whether this mechanism is unnatural or artificial. This phenomenon opens a new field of research, exploring unnatural mechanisms combining physics, chemistry, and energy. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet, but a self-operating quantum machine, a composite phenomenon never before witnessed by humanity. Subsequent hypotheses focus on the possibility that the cue ball generates sub-devices, fragments of matter directed toward planets, to survey, collect data, or perform complex operations. If correct, This would mark the first human observation of a truly active macroscopic quantum mechanism. Scientists began considering the possibility that the cue ball generates subdevices, small fragments of matter released and directed toward planets such as Mars, Venus, or Jupiter. These fragments could collect data, survey the environment, or perform complex operations never before observed by humans. If this hypothesis is correct, 3I Atlas is not merely a celestial object, but a macroscopic quantum system, a self-regulating mechanism that maintains energy, regulates gas and light, and deploys sub-devices to interact with the solar system. Simulations indicate that these fragments could be launched within stable orbital regions without altering the main orbit of the cue ball, while maintaining uniformity in energy absorption and light reflection. The research team analyzed radar and spectroscopic data. The smallest signs of sub-device activity have yet to be fully confirmed, but this possibility aligns with all of 3I Atlas's paradoxical observations. Physicists noted, if 3I Atlas deploys sub-devices, this would be the first evidence of a purposeful macroscopic quantum mechanism. An interstellar object not only preserves its orbit and energy, but also actively interacts with its surroundings. And ready, thanks for more. The team continues to monitor its orbit and outgassing. Every piece of data is crucial, as any minor error could shift the hypothesis. Future analyses will determine whether the cue ball truly deploys fragments, and if so, what their impact on the solar system might be. This phenomenon opens a completely new frontier of research, exploring unnatural mechanisms combining physics, chemistry, energy, and intelligence. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet, but a self-operating macroscopic quantum machine, a composite phenomenon never before witnessed by humanity. Scientists observed 3I Atlas and the surrounding planets. If the object is a cue ball, the energy and outgassing from it could have a slight effect on planetary atmospheres or on dust particles along its orbit. Sub-devices could be deployed, directed toward the surfaces or orbits of planets. They would collect data, survey the environment, and record physical and chemical phenomena. The impact is minimal, but sufficient to provide crucial information about the planets and the solar system. Simulations show the cue ball maintains a stable orbit even while deploying sub-devices. Outgassing from the main object and fragments does not alter its primary trajectory, and reflected light remains uniform. The research team analyzed radar, spectroscopic, and infrared data. Minor changes in orbit or light could reveal the cue ball's activity. Every measurement is critical. Even a small detail could confirm or refute the hypothesis of its internal mechanism. A physicist noted, if 3I Atlas interacts with planets, this is evidence of a macroscopic quantum system capable of influencing its environment. An interstellar object not only preserves its orbit and energy, but also deploys mechanisms to actively gather data. Control centers continue close monitoring. Every bit of data is valuable. Even minor errors could shift the hypothesis. Upcoming analyses will determine how the cue ball interacts with the solar system. This phenomenon opens a profound perspective. The cue ball is a macroscopic quantum particle surviving from the Big Bang. It self-regulates, maintaining energy, outgassing, and light, while interacting with the galactic environment. A composite phenomenon never before observed by humanity. Scientists continued analyzing the internal mechanism of 3I Atlas. If the object is a cue ball, it self-sustains energy, redistributes and regulates heat, light, and outgassing. Simulations show the cue ball can maintain balance, even while absorbing immense energy from the sunday. Its surface temperature remains nearly constant. Reflected light is stable. Outgassing occurs steadily. This is completely unlike any comet. Ordinary comets oscillate when heated, producing uneven outflows and irregular surfaces. But 3I Atlas maintains its state, as if it knows how to preserve equilibrium. Physicists began asking, is this mechanism natural, or is the cue ball an ancient quantum device? A sophisticated system capable of surviving billions of years, regulating energy while maintaining paradoxical physical features. Control centers continue close monitoring. Every measurement is valuable. Even minor errors could shift the hypothesis. The research team noted that all upcoming data will be crucial to determine the true nature of the cue ball. This phenomenon introduces a new concept, an interstellar, paradoxical object, a composite mechanism of physics, chemistry, and energy, and potentially intrinsic intelligence. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet. It is a self-operating quantum machine, a phenomenon humanity has never before encountered. Researchers observed the subtle effects of the cue ball on its surrounding environment. If sub-devices exist, they could be directed toward planets, monitoring surfaces or orbits. They collect data, survey physical and chemical phenomena. The impact is minimal, yet sufficient to provide clues about how the cue ball operates. Simulations show the main orbit remains stable. Outgassing and small fragments do not alter the cue ball's trajectory. Reflected light from the surface remains uniform. The entire phenomenon operates in perfect coordination. The research team analyzed radar and spectroscopic data, searching for subtle changes. Even the smallest signs could reveal internal activity. Every measurement is crucial, as it could confirm or refute the hypothesis of its internal mechanism. A physicist noted, if the cue ball deploys these devices, this is evidence of a self-regulating macroscopic quantum mechanism, an interstellar object that not only exists, but actively interacts with its environment. Control centers continue close monitoring. Data from every hour of observation is carefully recorded. Every detail, no matter how small, could shift the hypothesis. The research team realized that 3I Atlas is a composite entity, self-sustaining its energy, regulating outgassing, and potentially deploying external fragments. This phenomenon opens a completely new perspective. The cue ball is not a comet. It is a self-operating quantum machine, existing since the Big Bang, still maintaining its orbit, energy, and paradoxical characteristics to this day. The research team began questioning the purpose of the cue ball. If the object deploys small fragments, is it merely collecting data, or is it interacting with its environment in a deliberate way? Every action is recorded meticulously. Outgassing, reflected light, stable orbit, all factors operate in perfect coordination. As if the cue ball knows how to maintain complete equilibrium, physicists discussed the possibility that the cue ball is a self-regulating entity. It not only operates under quantum physics, but may also deploy sub-devices to survey or influence planets within the solar system. ESA and NASA control centers continue monitoring the data. Every detail, no matter how small, is logged. The team observed that the cue ball is an intricate self-operating system, regulating energy, maintaining surface and outgassing, and potentially affecting its surrounding environment. A physicist noted, if the cue ball is real, this is the first time humanity has observed a purposeful macroscopic quantum mechanism. an interstellar object that self-sustains, both existing and interacting, a phenomenon unprecedented in astronomy. This phenomenon opens a completely new scientific perspective. 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary comet. It is a self-operating quantum machine, existing since the Big Bang, maintaining its orbit, energy, light, and outgassing in ways never before witnessed by humans. Researchers began asking even bigger questions. Could many other cue balls exist in the galaxy with similar mechanisms, and might they have probed other star systems before appearing in the solar system? These questions remain unanswered, yet all current data indicate that 3I Atlas is a composite unnatural phenomenon integrating physics, chemistry, energy, and potentially intrinsic intelligence. Scientists began imagining the cue ball existing for billions of years. If correct, it is a remnant from the era of the Big Bang, a macroscopic quantum entity drifting through the galaxy with almost no interaction with its surroundings. Extended hypotheses suggest the cue ball may have previously surveyed numerous star systems. It self-sustains, regenerates energy, and preserves paradoxical physical traits over time. When it appears in the solar system, it is merely a visitor within the vast universe. The research team analyzed spectroscopic and radar data, the smallest signs of gas, light, and orbital patterns, support the long-lived hypothesis. Every detail is carefully recorded, as it reveals how the cue ball operates within the galactic environment. A physicist noted, "If 3I Atlas is a cue ball, this is the only evidence of a macroscopic quantum entity surviving from the Big Bang, a self-regulating mechanism maintaining energy while interacting with its environment, never before observed by humans." ESA and NASA control centers continue monitoring. Every measurement is critical. Even minor errors could shift the hypothesis. The research team understands that all upcoming analyses will shed light on the cue ball's long-term mechanism. This phenomenon opens an entirely new perspective. The cue ball is not merely an interstellar comet. It is a self-sustaining quantum system, a composite phenomenon of physics, chemistry, and energy, carrying a cosmic legacy billions of years old. Scientists began imagining further. Perhaps many other cue balls exist in the galaxy, each having passed through millions of star systems, leaving subtle traces before 3I Atlas appeared in the solar system. These questions remain unanswered, yet all current data indicate that 3I Atlas is an unnatural phenomenon, far surpassing any interstellar object previously observed by humanity. The research team began contemplating the possibilities that the cue ball opens. If the object is truly a macroscopic quantum particle, it is not merely a paradoxical phenomenon. It is a vehicle for exploring both natural and artificial aspects of the universe. Scientists imagined that the cue ball may have preserved information since the Big Bang. Each time it passes through a star system, it could interact lightly with the environment, record data, and carry traces of cosmic history. The team began proposing hypothetical experiments. If the cue ball can create subdevices, could they decode portions of this ancient information? Spectroscopic data, gas flows, and reflected light might represent a form of quantum code, a cosmic information system beyond human comprehension. ESA and NASA control centers began simulating scenarios. If the cue ball continues moving through the solar system, it could influence planetary surfaces or release fragments in subtle ways. To probe, collect data, or leave traces for future study. These hypotheses open a completely new scientific perspective. Cue balls are not only objects surviving from the Big Bang, but may also interact with their environment, even transmitting ancient information, in a form detectable to humans if observed with sufficient precision. A physicist noted, "If cue balls truly exist, the universe is no longer a passive environment. Each such object is a living record, a quantum library drifting through galaxies, carrying history and energy for billions of years." Road ahead, and why does suspense? The research team began asking even larger questions. Could other cue balls exist, each carrying a different message from distinct epochs of the universe? And could humanity learn from them, discovering unknown physical and energetic mechanisms, and gaining deeper understanding of the universe's ancient history? This phenomenon opens an entirely new field of research. 3I Atlas is not merely a paradoxical interstellar comet. It is a macroscopic quantum machine, a composite phenomenon of physics, chemistry, energy, and possibly information, carrying a cosmic legacy billions of years old. The research team concluded their analysis with a profound realization. Each observation, each data point, each stream of reflected light and outgassing is a piece of the ancient cosmic story. And 3I Atlas, by its existence and paradoxical mechanisms, has opened a door humanity has never before crossed. By late October 2024, 3I Atlas slipped behind the Sun, entering a region invisible to every Earth-based telescope. No direct data could be obtained. Only orbital instruments could monitor it from afar, picking up faint, intermittent signals. The research team realized this was the one window of opportunity. If the object were to execute any orbital braking, or a reverse O-berth maneuver, a thrust performed while moving away from the Sun, this would be the moment to alter its course unseen. Computer simulations suggested that, with its current trajectory, 3I Atlas could release sub-devices toward nearby planets, or keep them within the solar system. Such actions could subtly shift their orbits, or generate new streams of data from surrounding space. Scientists analyzed every dataset recorded before the object vanished into the solar blind zone. Each measurement of speed, direction, and vector was archived precisely, so that when 3I Atlas re-emerged in December, they could compare and detect even the slightest deviation. Observation plans were drafted. Orbiting probes around Mars and other planets were recalibrated to detect micro-shifts, fluctuations of just a few millimeters per second, that could betray hidden behavior within the cue ball. One scientist wrote, "During this period, we rely entirely on what the object has left behind in the data. All future analysis must depend on it, for direct observation is impossible." The team considered multiple scenarios. If the cue ball performed a reverse O-berth maneuver, it could accelerate counter to its original path and release fragments toward planetary targets. If not, it might simply continue forward, maintaining steady gas emission and uniform reflected light. These simulations were more than mathematics. They were the only means of predicting behavior inside the blind zone. Each computation was verified repeatedly. The researchers knew that even the tiniest deviation could distort the entire analysis. This created a rare observational window. October 24-29, 2024, the most critical period. If 3I Atlas altered its trajectory, then the data gathered before and after its passage behind the Sun would reveal its operational mechanism. The team understood this was not only a test of physics, chemistry, or energy. It was a potential glimpse of intelligence or autonomous design within the cue ball. Every fragment of data, every subtle oscillation, was precious. Each one a possible hint of something humanity had never seen before. The research team began simulating scenarios that 3I Atlas might execute while in the blind zone. If the object performed a reverse Oberth maneuver, it could accelerate counter to its current trajectory, allowing it to release fragments toward planets without any direct observation. These sub-devices could survey planetary surfaces, collect physical and chemical data, or record environmental signals. All activity would be highly subtle, with minimal impact on the cue ball's primary orbit. The team ran multiple simulations, optimizing the speed, direction, and trajectory of both the cue ball and its sub-devices. They sought to determine whether minor fluctuations could reveal the internal mechanism. Physicists analyzed radar, spectroscopic, and infrared data, searching for any orbital changes. Every detail is precious, as it could confirm the hypothesis that the cue ball self-regulates and deploys sub-devices. One researcher noted, if the cue ball releases sub-devices, this would be the first evidence of a self-operating macroscopic quantum mechanism interacting with its environment. An interstellar object that not only exists,